Hello everybody, today I'm going to share a video on a crack, press, and resubmit completed for Wolverine #1 Limited Series. I was lucky enough to find this particular slab for only $55. Based on what I saw, I thought this one had a pretty good chance for a grade bump. In this video, I'll walk through the process of cracking and resubmitting this slab, hopefully with the intention of getting a pretty decent grade bump from CGC. At this point, just looking at the slab, I'm checking where the best location would be to find using a couple different screwdriver sizes, we can just get the flat ends into the top of the case and use those to sort of pry open the seal. You can hear the cracking as you just sort of twist the top of the case to get it open. This case is actually was pretty easy to crack open. You can see a whole hole pop off at this point, and that's pretty much it. I'll take the label out here. I'll save that for now. At some point in the future, I'll resubmit that to CGC so they can remove that one from the census, and pull out the inner well of the slab. We'll get a little bit more of a view of what the book looks like on the inside. This book was, I did receive this as part of all 4 issues of the limited series. I think I got a fairly decent deal on that. It was clear that these hadn't been cleaned or pressed. So usually I typically use scissors, just open the inner well. I find it gives it a little bit more control than cutting it with an X-Acto knife or another type of blade. I'm just worried. Of course, you don't want to slice through the top edge of the book. So I cut the whole way through, discard the top piece, and then in most cases the book's relatively easy to just slide out of the inner well, as it was in this case. So once out of the plastic, it's a lot easier to sort of inspect and look at the quality of the cover. A lot of finger bands you can see in the light here. Lots of bends and distortion. Let's do a quick flip through the book itself. Beautiful Frank Miller art. Page quality is looking quite nice. Center fold, staples attached, no issues there. Quick flip through. Love the panel design on this book. It looks to be in order. Yeah. Say general white pages for this particular book. Back cover is a little bit dirty. There's a couple defects. You can see the bottom right hand corner, there's a bit of a corner crunch, a little bit of marking, ink marks on some areas. Lots of spine ticks on this book. But I do think this has a pretty high chance of getting, in my mind at least, higher than a 6.0. I think 6.0 is pretty low grade for this book. Here's a quick shot of my pressing setup. So on the right hand side, I have a little humidity chamber that I built for myself. Very simplistic, just a clear plastic bin with a lid. On one side I have a little bit of a stand to set the book on, and then on the right hand side I have a steamer, just a cheap steamer that I
I purchased off Amazon, and I basically embed both of those things in there with the comic, turn it on, leave it for about, usually it takes about 3 minutes to get up to around 90% relative humidity. I have a little humidity gauge here, which is difficult to read right now, but it currently says 40%. I usually set it for 3 minutes until it gets to about 90% humidity, and then let it just sort of dwell for another 3 minutes, and then pull the book out, set it in the press here. Typically for most of the books I'm doing, bronze copper age books, I usually set it for about 165 for around 12 minutes, and yeah, just clamp it in there. Yeah, and then let the timer run down at the end of the 12 minutes. Just let it sit in the press for another several hours until it cools, typically overnight. I'll do another video with more of a detailed setup of the entire pressing process, but I found this works pretty well. Exploring as an amateur, just to try to tweak things to get better outcomes each time. Okay, so the book has been received back from CGC. I have the old label just stuck on the top of the case here. So this was a 6.0 when I got it. I wasn't exactly sure what grade to expect, but I felt because there's so many finger bends and other pressable defects, I could at least get you know, a few grade point bumps. I was hoping maybe for a 7.5 or an 8.0. There's obviously some pretty big color breaking spine ticks which couldn't really be overcome with the press. So I didn't think it could get too much higher than maybe an 8.5. But yeah, let's see how we did. Wow, 9.0. Okay, I'm very happy with that grade. I'm a little surprised. I guess a lot of the defects were in fact pressable, but I'm still surprised to get that high of a bump, especially considering some of the pretty big spine ticks. You can see that one in the bottom is still quite large. In fact, when I look at it, there's still a lot of spine stress on this book, so I'm quite surprised it got a 9.0. I guess corners are clean and crisp, no bends or no you know, color breaking creases on the corners, so perhaps that was working in his favor after a good press. Wow, really happy with that result. Yeah, makes me wonder if I should give a go on pressing the other ones that I got as part of this 4-issue set. Thanks for watching. Bye.